Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you happen to be watching this. Welcome to the very first Trotec 1 Hour Laser Design Challenge. We're coming to you straight from our Mississauga office in Canada. First of all, I want to introduce myself. My name is Don. I work in Trotec Laser Consumables, as you can see. I've been with the company for just coming up on 2 years. I love consumables, I love lasers, I love everything that I get to do here, and I especially love my co-host, Miguel, the ever-talented designer. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Hey guys, as you can see, my name is Miguel Machado. I've been a graphic designer for the past, I think, 8 years or so, and I've been using lasers for the past 2 years as well. I'm a new hire here in Trotec, but I'm really having tons of fun doing design stuff together with lasers and putting together, have them, in my hands. So it's a nice thing to do, right? The challenge that we're trying to do here. I love fantasy stuff, and if you let my imagination run amok, I'll probably do that all the time. So that's why we're gonna ask a lot of the
We're going to ask for suggestions from you guys in chat. I mean, enough about us. We would love if you guys would say hi in chat. Anytime you want to ask us a question, by the way, between Miguel and I, we speak English, French, and Portuguese. Portuguese well, English well, French we'll see. But feel free to ask a question in any of those three languages, and we'll be happy to try and answer you the best we can. Anybody who wants to let us know where they're watching from, we're always really excited to hear about that as well. But we're so glad you guys took the time to join us this morning. Hey, bonjour, Marie. So just to give you guys, as people continue to join, a little bit of sort of background on what we plan to do. We're going to give Miguel roughly an hour. I mean, there are a lot of laser design challenges online, certainly. You can see them in the Adobe space. Oh, Rusty from Texas. Good morning or good afternoon, Rusty. We have been watching very eagerly a lot of Adobe design challenges online for a long time and realized that we could do some great stuff. Mel, good morning, Mel from Calgary. Realized that we could do some great stuff here in the office, showing off to you guys our Rayjet machine and a little bit of a 1 hour design challenge to both give Miguel a chance to show off. Oh, it's going to be this side on the camera. I'm going to have to get used to that. Give Miguel a chance to show off his design chops, but then also to show you guys what you can do with what represents basically our sort of entry-level hobbyist machine. So anything that you see Miguel do here today would scale to any of our machines, but we wanted to give him a challenge, and working with the Rayjet sort of forces him to really focus on the design side and prioritize making sure that it's, from design to finished product within an hour and something that you could do yourself on your tabletop at home. Honduras. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I have no idea what time it is there, but I am very excited. So we're going to be working with a variety of different materials. Any questions you want to ask about materials, of course, I am your man, absolutely. We won't be able to talk about pricing so much, but we definitely have a lot of information about the Rayjet, of course. If you have any questions about how it compares to other hobby lasers, how it compares to our other lasers here at Trotec, we're more than happy to want to answer those for you. Today, we're going to be working on a coaster, but we haven't decided on what the theme of the coaster is going to be. So we're definitely going to turn that over to you guys to give us some themes. If you're thinking about Father's Day that's coming up, if you're thinking about, I don't know, the season, whatever it might be, I mean, definitely throw us out some tough ones. Like Miguel said, when his imagination runs amok, he can come up with some great stuff. We were talking the other day about building a fantasy animal out of multi-layered acrylic, weren't we? I think.
You cannot do that in an hour.
We really have magical jobs, guys. We're very spoiled. But we'd be very excited for you guys to give us some ideas for themes. Is there anything that right off the bat that we can answer for you? I mean, if you have any ideas for what you'd like to see in a coaster, keep in mind, again, what we're trying to do is go from raw design at the start of the hour to a finished product that you could see on Etsy by the end of the hour. We might not make it every single week for sure, but we are really going to do our best. Miguel ran a little bit of a gauntlet this morning. To be honest, he put together basically single-handedly that sign that you see behind him in about 60 minutes. So he's basically already run the test run of the Laser Design 1 Hour Challenge today once. And so I think he's all warmed up. His muscles are. How are you feeling, Miguel? Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm excited. I want to know all the teams that people will come up with, right?
Absolutely.
By the way, every week we will change the type of challenge that we would do. So this week it will be coaster, next week will be, I don't know, maybe a cup, glass cups and stuff like that. Whatever you guys prefer.
Personal pets is a great suggestion, Emery. I like that.
Personal pets.
Yes. Jeff, also from Regina. Good morning, good afternoon. I grew up in Saskatoon, so I have been to Regina many times. Greetings from your fellow prairie friend.
Your pets.
I think I'd be excited. Personal pets is a great idea. I know for sure as soon as I throw something at you, Miguel, that your brain starts sort of simmering away on what you might do. Does anybody else have any sort of theme ideas? I'm curious, sort of, Miguel, just as a general question, when I throw a theme like personal pets at you, sort of what's the first like inclination for a design, that you would think? Is it like looking at research photos? Obviously, we'll get into the process here in a minute, but what's that first thing that tweaks in your brain? What's that first step usually?
Actually, I try to visualize the finished product at first in my head and see if it, I don't know, looks decent, if it's feasible to do. Because there's also that, right? Like we can imagine as much as we want. As like if we cannot make it, it won't amount to anything, right? So I always try to do something that is possible within my capacities. Personal pets, it's maybe a little bit tough, like to actually imagine a coaster of personal pets, unless I'm just doing a simple thing as pet and the name of it,
Well, and what I love about that theme, I will say, is Star Wars Father's Day from Sean. That's also fantastic. Thank you, Sean. That's very tempting for Miguel and I think. One thing about personal pets that sort of springs to mind is certainly on a site like, let's say, Etsy, with a sort of hobbyist entry-level laser, I could see how that could be a really booming business, exactly like Anne-Marie says, sort of using your own pictures or using those that are submitted by your customers to do sort of a photo engraving style. But at the same time, that can also be, funny meme animal stuff that you can do. You can take animals in a lot of different directions. And I mean, that's always appealing online, right? Animals has never stopped being a topic that people love to see. Nicole with some great ideas. So something kinetic would be cool. Something that reminds you of the 80s. It's so funny that you mentioned that, Nicole. That's a great, we're working on, so we'll have more to come in the coming weeks, but we have some cool 80s stuff on the way that I hope you guys will be really excited about. Avengers Iron Man Father's Day. I'm so glad that people see their fathers as like Star Wars or Iron Man. I think my dad would be very excited to hear that I thought of him as Iron Man. Trotec Italy. Hello. Thank you for tuning in. A multi-layered mandala would be really cool. Now, I will say, Sean, that makes me think of a question I wanted to ask Miguel. I mean, we'll probably get started here in about 2 minutes. When you're thinking about both a design for a laser and a design within an hour, how does that sort of factor in for thinking of a finished product? I guess you're also trying to think about like what's doable within the time frame based on where the laser shines for speed and quality and that sort of thing.
Yes. In this case, those suggestions are so cool, and most of them I would love to do something cooler that I can do like in more than an hour. So I'm trying to simplify. For instance, it's something kinetic 80s. I love that thing. We have Trotec Neon coming up, right? And we were trying to do something with the 80s in mind this week. So this is something that's already fresh on my mind. And Star Wars, the Iron Man kind of stuff, I loved it. So I don't know. I have to research more to see what I can use as simple as I can to make it in an hour. Well, right? And it still looks cool because I think about layering, about inlaying, and this is going to take time, and I might not be able to make it in an hour. So I try to,
Well, let me ask you this: how would you feel about if I said to you, "80s pets"?
80s pets.
That was 80s style, but with pets. Could we combine a couple of things? I know it's the first week. I don't want to throw something too crazy at you, but I do kind of want to throw something really crazy at you.
Okay.
Good morning, Montreal. Thank you for tuning in so much. I'm excited to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's 11 a.m. I've been in quarantine for too long, Miguel. So, I mean, I know you've got some. I mean, Miguel, we've equipped him with a selection of materials, but we haven't made it easy. I mean, we gave him probably, you've got what, 8 to 10 materials over there with you?
Yeah. And I'm thinking about like well, you already threw at me, right? So 80s pets, and I'm like, okay, what can I make with this, right? So yeah, it's not easy, but it wouldn't be a challenge if it was easy, right?
Absolutely, that's true.
So,
So yeah, the Simpsons dog Nicole suggests Santa's little helper, which is very, very cool. 8:40 in 8:40 p.m. in India. Oh wow, this is like, I'm glad it's good vibes, man. I'm happy to hear that. Rocco's Modern Life from Nicole. Nicole, you and I are going to be friends. That's very exciting. So I mean, this is the thing. 80s pets may be tough, but I mean, you've got kinetic pets, you've got Adele from Paris about pins and a simple design. That's absolutely true. I think pins will likely be something we'll be looking at doing sort of in weeks to come. This week, we're doing a coaster just to try and make it. We sort of came at it from a perspective of one of our most popular videos we've ever had on our YouTube channel was our coasters video. And so we wanted to do a redo of that, but within an hour to see if there was something that we could show you guys that would be exciting. And kind of a throwback to something that hopefully a lot of you have seen and really liked already. So we're just passing about 10, 11 minutes here, Miguel. I think it's probably about time to get going. Do you want to go with like maybe an 80s pet, some 80s fonts or like some neon and some pets? What do you think? Go with a chia pet. That's very good.
I didn't even know what the
really want you to tune in every week. So chia pet is those ones, you've seen them with like the grass that grows out of the head. It's like a little statue and a friend. Listen, if you look it up on Google, you'll see it, or on Bing if you insist. Listen, everyone, Miguel uses Bing. I don't want you to comment in the. It's great. Listen, I had one of these when I was a kid, and I also had other friends for sure.
There's Bob Ross here. I love it.
Oh, that is Bob Ross. I mean, you could do a chia pet themed one with like some green and a pet. I'm sticking with 80s pets though, Miguel. I think you can do this. I think 80s pets is doable. You are a talented dude. Again, guys, I want to keep in mind, and these two things aren't related, Miguel, I promise. But we might not make it within the hour every single week. But you've got 40 seconds until I start the counter here, Miguel. So 40 seconds to decide 80s pet. How do we feel about it? Are you feeling good? Are we excited?
Yeah, let's go. I might have an idea. I'll try to do it.
All right. So I'm going to start in 3, 2, 1. Let's hit it, man. Go for it. Okay, 1 hour.
So I'll try to explain everything that's going through my mind is the best of my capacity. So first things first, right? So 80s pet, and I like the chia idea. I feel like this is really weird, and I like weird. So
hey, I'm going to throw one more thing out at you. During the 80s, pet rocks was a big thing. I was born in the 80s. Pet rocks. So like rocks that here, I'll show your screen if it's
yeah.
So this legitimately was a product in the 80s.
Okay.
It's not necessarily very neon, but like, hey, there's a lot of things about the 80s that weren't neon. I'm from the 80s and I'm not very neon, I'm afraid. How about the KFC grandpa and McDonald's man eating Domino's pizza? I love the way you think, but that is already my plan for lunch, I'm afraid. KFC grandpa is the best name for that mascot I think I've ever. That summarizes it perfectly. All right, so yeah, I don't want to hold you back, man. I'm sorry, you were in the middle of telling us. So
all right, so I forgot. I think it's disco clothes, right?
Yeah.
Disco is 80s.
It's 70s, 80s. All of that's late disco is certainly.
Yeah, I'm 20 something, so I don't really know about this stuff. Okay, yeah. So I was thinking about a dog with some kind of bougie clothing and these kind of chia head, engraved.
So like disco, or like the like afro in like chia colors.
Yes, and I don't know, with lettering with like vibing or something like that, like
vibing.
With red acrylic.
I think that would be great. So so when it comes to so Nicole asked about what materials you have. So Miguel, I will leave you to pull up some references, some stock just really quickly. I want to sort of single out. We've given Miguel again a variety of different things. We've given him some of our wood products, like our Trotec Eco. So it's like a recyclable, fully recycled, fully biodegradable wood product. We gave him some different trolleys in different colors. We gave him some products that I think today might be the first time you guys have ever gotten to see them, that are going to be launching soon. We were excited for this first 1 hour design stream, so we wanted to give you guys maybe a sneak peek at some of the stuff we have coming, maybe some pastel colors. We'll see if that works into Miguel's design theme. These are cursed images, Miguel. But we really wanted to give him a variety of things. Coasters, I think, in a lot of cases, maybe seems like a simple product. And it's something that, I mean, the Rayjet's going to be ideal for. It's going to be able to do super high quality engraving and super fast cutting. But, you know, the coaster sort of being, I don't know, people I think often think of them as potentially a very simple product, but because the Rayjet is equipped to handle basically any material that we have here at Trotec, you're able to really do a lot of different things with it. I mean, you can do plastics, you can do acrylics, you can do woods, you can do anodized aluminum and metals and different things. Cork, obviously. I don't think we gave Miguel any cork this morning, which seems silly for a coaster challenge, but oh, you could do a vinyl record.
Yeah. I mean, you cannot do vinyl.
No, you can't do vinyl. That's true. Okay, so this is why they don't leave me to host streams by myself. What I would say is that, you know, don't underestimate, just because the Rayjet sort of represents, you know, our smallest laser. I mean, definitely don't think about the Trotec lasers as just bed size and laser power. The Rayjet laser, like we said, is going to be able, anything you do on the Rayjet is going to be able to scale to any of the speedies. It has the same level of sort of speed and quality that any of the bigger lasers are going to have. And to be honest, the fact that it's able to just sit next to Miguel on the table right now just sort of speaks to how easy it is to either put it in, I mean, we have the James in the Van videos, but I mean, put it in a small workshop, keep it close to, you know, a lot of the other materials that you might already have working, if it's a CNC or a saw or whatever it is. It's a great addition to a home business, or, you know, I mean, think of it as like entry level, but, you know, industrial strength, entry level. Adele, I did see your comment there. I wanted to highlight it exactly. So Adele was talking about the 80s joke marketing. So the rock pet and the sort of combining that with an idea of like wood pets and chia pets and that sort of ideas and playing off that cool 80s nostalgia. David, thank you. The Mario Brothers theme. This is one that actually, when Miguel and I were doing a project not long ago, we made, so I don't know, Miguel, if you want to tell that story, but we made an earring that was a Mario Brothers, it was a piranha plant, right?
Yeah. And that one I made from scratch. Like, I actually vectorized everything from scratch. This one I probably look for stock vectors so I can make it anytime.
So I'm curious, what is it that you're doing right now? So you're assembling stock photos inside of Illustrator.
Okay, so my first part of the process, when I don't really have a clear image, like this theme is completely, I don't know, alien to me, because even though I like the 80s, I wasn't born in it. I didn't grow with it. So there's a lot of stuff that I don't know. I didn't know Chia Pet was a thing. I didn't know Pet Rocks were a thing and stuff like that, right?
So, brother.
Yeah. So I have an image in my head, but it cannot be the finished image because I don't really know that well enough, you know? So I'm trying to make a mood board, which is I pick pictures from the Internet of Things. There will be my reference, and I'll put them all together so I can like visualize better what I'm trying to achieve, you know? So I kind of want this dog in with, instead of this Michael Jackson costume, with this kind of costume, you know, and with this hair instead of the Michael Jackson hair. And I don't know what I can do with the rock thing. I may do the coaster shape, kind of look like a rock. I don't really know.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And so, yeah, basically that's what I'm doing so far. I'm just putting stuff together in a mood board.
I gotta say, looking at this mood board just as an impartial observer, thank you guys so much for this suggestion. This is the best mood board I've ever seen put together by Miguel. I think this may be my favorite. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for the suggestions. And don't forget, I mean, tune in every single week. We're going to be trying to host one of these every Wednesday, I believe, going forward. And, you know, we decided on a coaster this week, as I said, just as sort of a look back at one of our most popular YouTube videos. Oh, Miguel just got inspired. I saw it happen in real time. You all saw it happen. But also, because going forward, we want you guys to be able to suggest both the product and the theme. We don't want Miguel to have any opportunity to sort of plan in advance. It's not about success or failure, but we just wanted to show you guys how with an entry-level Trotec laser, you're going to be able to get something to market, quickly and easily, and also that you can act on your inspiration quickly and easily. And I think that's really, really exciting. I have to ask them, Miguel, what is it, hair metal that inspired you? What happened?
Yeah, it's a color. I feel like I can use wood and what's the name of this acrylic?
Pastel
I forgot. Yeah, the pastel pink that you gave me. Right?
Oh, cool.
To do something cool. However, I want to make them level to be an actual functional coaster, right? So I think I'll have to inlay it probably, or I don't really know yet how I'm gonna make the cut, but at least the materials are in my head, and I kind of have a more clear image of the design, right? So right now, I'll keep as is because otherwise I won't have enough time. And since like I said, I'm gonna use some stock vectors. I will go to a free vector website, and you guys can use those websites to help you design some stuff. But most of the free vectors there, you need to credit the artist at the least, or if you're doing using for commercial uses, you have to buy it, right? So since this is a free kind of thing, we're not going to sell this. We're not going to do anything with this that it's going to give us money. I can.
What was this website that you were pulling up here? I just wanted to be sure that I gave the.
Sorry, what?
What was the name of the website? Sorry, I just wanted to be sure that I.
I'm using FreePick right now. Okay. Yeah, you can use Vectease as well, but FreePick is my go-to most of the time. So I'll look for dogs. But so this is a good vector set of dogs, free, right? And
you guys should know too. I mean, we put out a lot of. We're putting out videos every single week. Part of that is there's absolutely no concern in, as Miguel says, if you're going to use it commercially, then you do have to either credit the artist or you likely have to buy the vector. But we use, I see that Pomeranian. We use free vector websites like this or like Vectease, like Miguel mentions all the time. We'll likely go to something like 101 fonts later as a way to sort of maybe find like an 80s font. But I mean, if these resources are out there for you, especially if you're under a deadline to put something together, I mean, don't hesitate to use this. Even if it's just as inspiration, there's certainly no shame in using something that another illustrator or another designer has already put together for you, because you're going to build on top of it. You're going to make something special that's entirely you. I mean, it's one of the things that's great about the laser, sort of going back to what I was talking about before, the fact that it can work with so many different materials and the fact that you can do so many different kind of projects. I mean, your attitude and the way that you design is going to come out in the product you make. You don't necessarily need to worry about making something completely from scratch every single time. I like this. What is the name of this dog? I know that breed of dog. Somebody's going to have to tell me what that dog is. Oh, no.
I did that like with a purpose, but this is not the right way to do it.
So just so you guys know, I mean, Miguel is using, and I know you've probably heard us say this before, Miguel is using Illustrator here, but I mean, any design software that you want to use is going to work beautifully with the Rayjet. So if you're a CorelDRAW person, that's fine. If you're an Inkscape person, absolutely great. AutoCAD, Rhino, all that stuff is going to work beautifully for putting together your designs. And then later on, when we get to actually putting the material on the laser, we've passed just over 10 minutes already, Miguel. 10 minutes already passed. We will show you some of the Rayjet specific software. So Rayjet Commander, the way that Rayjet sort of integrates with your computer and allows you to sort of use some of those cool sort of Rayjet specific tools. One of the things that's great about the Rayjet and that I love, and again, we'll get to show this in more detail later, but I wanted to kind of give Miguel maybe a chance here to work on his Bob Ross, on his dog Ross, is that it's going to have presets for a lot of different materials already built in. Deborah Smith, unlike Miguel, I lived the 80s, big Dynasty shoulder pads, and all the shout out to Dynasty is so good. Dynasty and Twin Peaks. Miguel, I'm telling you, man, you're missing out, my friend. We're gonna get you some 80s themed goodness. But yes, so the Rayjet is going to have presets in it for different materials. So if you're engraving on glass, we have a great Rayjet webinar that you can find on our YouTube channel if you're interested to get more information coming out of the webinar here with Miguel and I. But it's going to give you presets that will allow you to work with a lot of different materials in the same way that Job Control does on our Speedies, and a great place, even if you don't necessarily find exactly the outcome you're looking for immediately, a great place to start that you can then sort of fiddle around with and find the perfect result for what you're looking for. Miguel, can I ask, what are we working on right now? Are we just separating out the vector? What's the...
Yeah, I'm trying to simplify it as fast as I can to make it a cut line for it, right? Because this is just an illustration.
Right.
And it probably won't really work for what I want to work with, right? And then after I simplify it, I have to add some stuff that I want to put the 80s jazz on it, right?
So yeah, I'm excited.
I have to clean it up a little bit.
So I want to ask you, Miguel, you said you've been working with lasers for about 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, probably nothing like this challenge before, I would say. What is sort of your background with lasers? I mean, we haven't gotten to do near enough videos with you yet. I'd love for our audience to get to know you a little bit better.
Before I came here to Trotec, I was basically doing church decorations, right? And most of the time I was using twill and cutting twill. So my background in lasers is more of a production side and less of a design side. So I've only been actually designing stuff for lasers for the past 3 months or so, which has been pretty cool. Like, I love it.
I want you guys to think about how much more exciting that makes this challenge when 3 months was specifically designing for lasers, and he is crushing it on this little dog right now. So when you're separating out a vector like this for laser, are you already thinking about color blocking it for different sort of functions inside the laser, or are you just thinking about get it, as clear as possible, as simple as possible, kind of readable?
Yes, because I'm thinking about engraving in different powers, so you can have depth, right, to the animal, a little bit of depth, because it has some details. Otherwise, you won't really realize it's 80s. But yeah, that's why I'm color blocking like this. And since this is the hardest part, I'm trying to do it first, because otherwise I won't have enough time to do the rest, right?
15 minutes passed, buddy. 15 minutes. You're a quarter of the way done already.
Okay, so I'm gonna take this out.
For anybody who hasn't used one of our lasers before, just sort of a quick primer. So one of the things when you're putting together your design that you have to consider is when you send it to the laser understands different things that you want it to do based on different colors that you use. So if there's a section you want it to engrave, like Miguel is potentially putting a awesome 80s headband on this dog right now. If he wants to engrave that section, he'll make it a certain color, and the laser will understand, hey, that color means everything that is red or blue or whatever, purple in this case maybe, is a color that we have to engrave. The Rayjet lets you have 8 different color settings that you can use all in the same job. So you're able to get a lot of different variation, like Miguel's sort of showing you here. If he wants to have 3 different strengths of engraving on the dog, and he has it set to 3 different colors, he can do all of those in one job without necessarily swapping out materials or stopping and restarting, I'm really excited for you guys to get to see the Rayjet in progress later in the challenge. Obviously, that's still to come, but I always think it's most exciting to see your design, at least for me, to kind of come to fruition when it's actually in the laser machine. You can see it working. You can see it kind of coming together. Boy, you guys really gave us a great suggestion this morning. I'm going to say I'm already loving it.
That called me, like, I don't know. I'm sweating here, like.
No, you got it, man.
Okay.
One thing I may quickly do is, if it's all right with you, Miguel, I'm going to share my screen here as well.
Absolutely. I'll take some time.
I want to show you guys. So let's just do a quick search for posters here on Etsy. Maybe let's do EPG is nothing. No. Looking at some of the things that are up here on Miguel. So on Etsy, I think very true to what you guys were suggesting in the chat earlier. There really is a variety of different ways that you could take a theme like this. Admittedly, Miguel, I'm not seeing any 80s Oh, well, this one's a little 80s colored, but I think yours is going to be better. But, a lot of these different projects that you can see here, there's kind of two things that my brain immediately goes to as the consumables person for Trotec. The first one is I'm looking at the prices of different things, and I'm sure this is something that you guys would obviously be doing when looking to potentially bring a new product to market. So a lot of the coasters I'm seeing here, I mean, some of them are going to be, coaster sets. And they vary between, like we said, photo engraving, stuff that's a little bit more fun and kind of more abstract, to things like these Dakshin coasters that are kind of maybe more about the material. But then also, looking at the pricing on this stuff, that's anywhere from about $10 to about 40, probably even somewhere about like $10 to $40 in there. It's something definitely to consider when you're working on a project like this is how do you want to go about let me add Miguel's screen back in there. How do you want to go about pricing your job? How do you want to go about deciding what it is that you want to bring to market? Because like we said, I think there's a certain amount of your personal style that's going to come across in the design, but then it's also, what's already out there in the market that you want to compete with, right? How do you want to price your job depending on the material you choose? And then also, what's going to be competitive? Miguel, we're getting some really nice comments about the headband. People love the headband. Are you thinking about maybe just like black and white at this point? I mean, layers is pretty tricky. I really admire your ambition, brother.
No, but like I really think it can work. I'm just thinking what I'm gonna do with the engraving part. Okay, so you guys see me doing something else. I'll group this. So the idea is I'm gonna make a coaster, and what's the size of the coaster? 5x5, I think, maybe.
Probably, I think that'll probably be good. Yeah,
Okay,
your average drink. That's probably even a little
big.
Yeah, maybe. I could tell you what the ones on Etsy were if you like.
Okay, that would be nice to know the size.
Let's see here. Ceramic, waterproof. I'm not trying to focus on any particular one. I just wanted to see if I could get. You know what, Miguel? I'm going to say these are probably like, probably 4x4 or 5x5. Some of them are in like dog paw shapes, but I actually like yours better than any of the ones I'm seeing there.
So that's kind of what I want, right? I'm gonna search for a font later. I want to put the grooving here with an 80s font, kind of a Miami Vice kind of theme. Around maybe, I don't know, maybe we can do a hexagon or a circle for the coaster. I don't really know yet if I'm gonna keep with the circle, and maybe something on the bottom. So if this is layered, right? If the middle part will be with something on top of it, I want it to be able to actually hold cup.
Right.
So right now I'm struggling to think about how this will function as a coaster.
Okay.
But design wise, I'm already set in what I want to do.
I mean, I love it already. We had a great point here from Amy in England. I wanted to throw out there, actually, Miguel. She mentions that she uses CorelDRAW and that she has to make sure always that the document is set to RGB in order that the laser will read it.
Yep.
So exactly. I was mentioning that Rayjet had 8 different colors that you could work with, but the color space all have to be their RGB values, right? They're either solid RGB colors or a mix of different RGB values. Am I right in saying that?
Exactly.
Right. So will you be able to show us those colors later on when we're in the Rayjet Commander? You've already got a lot on the go, obviously, but I'm gonna listen. This is a challenge. I'm not gonna let you off easy, my friend.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be easier, but Nicole really got me like sidetracked here, and yeah, it is a challenge, definitely.
So I have to ask, are there any? Sorry, I'm watching you design here. So okay, when you're putting together a file like this, I mean, I know you've chosen to go with Illustrator. You could use CorelDRAW like Amy does. You could use any sort of
We will
combination of different design features. Absolutely. Is there anything about working with the Rayjet specifically, I have to ask though, when it comes to the laser processing side that you really like? Like what's one of your favorite things about working with the Rayjet specifically?
It's my favorite thing is that it's close to me, like it's right next to me. So it sits on the desk and I can just put whatever I want there, right? It's easy. I don't have to go to the showroom to do anything. So, and it delivers very nice quality. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, most of the time I don't even need to go to a Speedy.
Well,
unless something more complex.
Miguel has to do a lot of prototyping, you guys, for the different designs that we do for our different videos. And one thing definitely to keep in mind for future suggestions that you might have is that the Rayjet has the option to add a rotary. So if you want Miguel to do cups or bottles or things like that in the future, that's absolutely on the table. Going back to that Star Wars theme, maybe we'll do like a lightsaber hilt theme at some point and really, force you to do something cool on a bottle with some really like high quality engraving. The Rayjet has a 30-watt CO2 in there that's going to be able to work with, just about any, CO2 friendly material. You've got a lot of different options there that you have available to you. Miguel, I want you to know I'm grooving with this design right now. I'm very excited.
So I'm going to look for a font now so I have a better understanding of what I'm doing.
Okay.
I'm going to that font, which is another website where you can get some free fonts. Okay. But most of them are not for commercial use. Same thing applies for the stock vectors.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I'll look for...
I love the way that you have to keyword search this stuff, because when you're looking for like an 80s font or like a Miami Vice font, the words that you have to type into the keyword search are hilarious to me. Yeah. So again, when it comes to this though,
ooh, this is cool.
That is really cool. That screams 80s to me. And fortunately, like you said, that sort of falls into those pastel colors.
Yep, exactly.
So excited for you guys to see some of these pastel acrylics. Again, this will be the first time that they appear on camera here at Trotec, I think. So, you can look forward to when they are launched in the coming weeks. I'm excited to put that together for you guys. Font.com.
Yeah.
So when you're thinking about selecting a font, are you thinking just about sort of, again, the vibe that you want to put across? Is there anything that you'd want to be concerned about when you're picking a font? Is it about legibility overall? Is it about...
Depends on what I'm doing. Like for a coaster, I don't think you're going to be reading the coaster too much. So it doesn't matter if it's like easily readable. But yeah, it depends on what I'm doing. If it's something that you gotta read, I will have to think about those kind of stuff. But right now, it's basically stylistic choices, right?
Listen, I don't want to put too much pressure on you, but the fact of the matter is, when I see that Keep Groovin' design, you've got style already locked down, my friend. Don't even worry about that. That Keep Groovin' dog. Oh wow, you're taking me in a time machine seeing some of these pictures.
Is this? But since I cannot find anything faster.
Again, guys, I want to remind you, if you have any questions for us, between Miguel and I, we know a lot about the different lasers, specifically the Rayjet here, but any of the speedies you want to ask about, the SPs, that's totally fine. And nobody, I think, here in the office probably knows more about the consumables than me. So if there's any consumable question you want to ask, I am absolutely here for it. We can give you suggestions for both design thought, but then also, settings, different things that you want to try with the laser. Anything. We'd love to hear your stories about making coasters or other products with the laser. We want to have an opportunity to chat with you guys, and give Miguel a chance to to work here.
Let's actually find a font. This is a font, Adrena font.
Just out of curiosity, Miguel, so if you had all the time in the world, hypothetically, you could, hand make something with vectors, I suppose, right? But obviously, in this case, that's not, feasible in the hour.
No. Okay, so since I'm not actually finding that font, I'm gonna look for something cursive that works, and I'll just copy. No, no, handwriting. Let's see. Yeah, if I had more time, it would definitely be a
You
beautiful
probably have to
project. Yeah.
make something yourself, but best laser engraving and cutting machine with suitable software. So that is certainly a matter of opinion. Obviously, Miguel and I are a little biased in that we do love Trotec. I think finding the best machine for you, at least when it comes to, let's say, speaking specifically to Trotec. If you're looking at choosing between the different machines, part of it is going to be space. So like Miguel was talking about when he was joking about having the laser right next to him so he can prototype and stuff quickly. I mean, that's a very real benefit of the Rayjet. Having something that is small and easy to fit into your workflow that you already have going is really, really nice. But obviously, on the other end, if you're going to be working with a larger material, we have some large format lasers, obviously, that would be ideal for that. In terms of software, software is tricky. I think when it comes to the design side, obviously you have a choice of just about anything you want to use. We have customers here in Canada who use Excel to run their laser. I mean, you really have a lot of flexibility. It's more about trying to find a way that it is grooving for what it is that you want to do. When it comes to, I mean, we'll get a chance to show you Rayjet Commander here in a little bit, which is the Rayjet software specifically, but then also our job control software is really, really powerful. We have a lot of different webinars and things on the YouTube channel we'd suggest checking out that will show you sort of the ins and outs of job control and give you a chance to sort of understand why we really feel it's a great and powerful option. But one thing to keep in mind, like we were sort of talking about the Rayjet being flexible and easy to fit into a lot of places, that's a machine that we love to consider when we're looking at going to trade shows, things like that. It plugs into just a regular 110-volt wall outlet. So, I mean, realistically, it literally does just sit on Miguel's desk. He has it, within arm's reach. We're gonna set up, I think, a custom Rayjet cam in the coming weeks here, so you guys can see it
For a center print
throughout the whole challenge. But it's really, really easy to plug it in, to set up the software, and then you can just start working almost straight away. Let me see if I've got something that I can show you. I wonder if is that in all caps, that text, Miguel, or is it?
Sorry?
Is that in all text or all caps, that text, or is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks good, man.
So this would probably have to be engraved. I want this to be like smaller. Exactly how I'm gonna do it, but I have minutes to finish this, right? So
you just passed 30 minutes. You're halfway through.
Yeah.
You're fortunate that because the Rayjet is really fast, Miguel kind of, depending on the complexity of the design, he's probably thinking about, what, Miguel, like when are you thinking you absolutely have to have your design on the machine by?
15 minutes. Like
15 minutes?
I have to finish this in 15 minutes because I have to do 2 cuts, right? So yeah, I have to finish one, take the material off. So something around 15 minutes to make sure that everything's good. And if something goes wrong, I still have time to fix and do it again.
I'm excited. We had a question here about how to send a command to the laser. And so I'm excited for when we get to that point where we're sending stuff to the laser, we'll be able to show you guys how to send a command through, how to kind of color block it. But you can see already here, Miguel is thinking about how he wants to separate out different sections to get different effects in different parts of the machine. I do want to mention, because I said how fast the Rayjet was, I have the figure here in front of me. Its max speed is 60 inches a second. A lot of hobby machines are roughly maybe 30 to 40 inches a second. The Rayjet is about 60 inches a second at max speed. So high quality, but also high speed. Certainly, when we come back to that question of choosing, the right Trotec for whatever the application that you want to do is, that's something definitely to keep in mind, is that question of, speed and wattage and being able to scale your design. If Miguel can fit 4 of these coasters onto the Rayjet bed at once, and he can finish one in, less than 15 minutes, that means he's able to make, a finished set of coasters, maybe 4 or 5 finished sets by, the end of an hour, and have them up on Etsy. I'm really hoping we'll be able to have this finished by the end of an hour, but
Really hope.
it's looking great. I'm excited, Miguel. It's looking awesome.
Yeah, so to me, it's really close to finished. I just need something to put on the bottom of it, right? And I
Okay.
don't really know. I'm kind of like going, I don't know.
So can you sort of expand on what you're thinking here as you're designing? Like what is it right now you're just thinking in terms of layout when it comes to the shape and space of the coaster that you have to play with, or
Yes,
gotcha.
yes.
So are you thinking like do you want to add another visual element, or are you thinking about the offset of that versus the ROI of how quickly it can get done?
I need another visual element that if I'm gonna double layer it, I need something on the bottom. So
Okay.
whatever is sitting on top of this coaster can actually stay put and not
Right.
fall down.
Right.
Functionality basically. Like
I got you.
actually, I'll have to get up here a little bit just to make sure that any of the woods have.
So Miguel's going to go check out some of these materials. I'm excited for you guys to see these again. I think wood is the go-to for a lot of coasters. I think it's the go-to for a lot of products actually that we get to chat with customers about, just because it is so flexible, and also because we have a lot of different colors and types of woods available. Again, my personal favorite, and this is just me, is still the Eco. The fact that it's made of entirely recycled, biodegradable materials is fantastic. It comes in a great pack of 5. I think Miguel has some there, but I'm not sure if it'll be perfect for what he's doing today. We'll have to see what he decides to come back with. I'm also really excited for you guys to see these pastels. I have fingers crossed. Part of maybe why, as long as it's just you guys and me, little secret between us. Oh, Miguel's back. Well, make sure to unmute your mic there, Miguel. Let me just. There you go.
Oh,
hey.
Hi. It's talking.
Part of the reason I was really excited for him to do 80s is because I was hoping he would get to show you some of these pastel acrylics. So, so what's on your mind, Miguel? What are you thinking?
Okay, so I don't think I have a pastel with 3M on the back, right? So this is the pastel that I'm gonna use. Yep, here, right?
Let's bring that.
So I was thinking about putting this on top. So we need something to hold on the back on top of a wood, right?
Right.
I'll do both, but this one should have been on top. And I'll definitely do another one for you guys and put it on Instagram so you guys can check it out. On Trolley's background. I think I'm gonna put this on top because I want to do 2 different powers of engraving on the wood, right? And I think wood is a better base than acrylic for a coaster. I believe so. You can correct me if I'm wrong, since you're the consumables manager.
Well, I have to say, I mean, I think what's going to be great about what you show is that you can kind of use any of the materials.
Yeah.
I mean, when we looked at Etsy, we saw a lot of different things here. I can pop over to our consumables webpage here. Let's see.
So
engraving-supplies.ca is where you're going to find all of the materials that Miguel is going to be using this week and in future weeks. Let me just share that with you guys. Make sure I pick the right one. There we go. So you can see here on the landing page, we have quick jumps to a lot of our top selling materials, but if you want to deep dive into any of the things that we show you here on the show, so we were talking about the woods before, the Eco, for example. So under the wood category here, we have a lot of different options. The Eco here is the one that I was telling you about. Here's a really cool project we did. We have videos on the Eco as well online that I would absolutely recommend you check out. But the Eco, and I believe the one Miguel has there is 3mm.
Oh man, I'm thinking about so many cool stuff to make with this, but I don't have enough time to do it. Okay.
Here, let me see if I can get this. Well, anyhow, definitely when you have a chance, everyone, visit engraving-supplies.ca. We have so many great materials here on the website. We're going to have more new things coming in the coming weeks, including the pastel acrylic that I think Miguel's going to be using today. You guys are getting a sneak peek at something that's coming, and there's going to be more exciting colors that'll be revealed going forward. But definitely check out the website when you have a chance. I mean, there's over 1,000 products there, and feel free to ask me questions about any of them this week and in coming weeks. I mean, that's what I'm here for.
Okay. I'm looking like some disco stuff that I can put it there. I wanted to do like one of these globes, on the
Well,
bottom. Yeah, but there's no way I can do that in time. Like, it's a lot of work.
Neil,
Hmm.
40 minutes. Well, you're at 38 minutes, but I want to put the pressure on.
Sure, no pressure.
I have the easiest job in this challenge. My whole job is to make your job a challenge. I love some of this stuff. Now, one thing, I mean, you guys want to consider maybe when you're looking at, you know, putting together a design like this. I mean, Miguel obviously is thinking about this in terms of, getting it done under the hour. When you have all the time in the world, you can continue to, um, tweak and make it exactly what you want. When you're using obviously copyrighted materials, so we talked about the Mario Brothers and stuff like that. Just always something you want to be wary of. I wanted to suggest maybe Miguel do like a Back to the Future thing, even when we were first talking about this. But while you want to be able to play to that nostalgia stuff, it's also something if you're going to have a product up on Etsy, you want to be careful about. Is this pretty much ready to hop on the laser? I mean, we're getting close to 40
It
minutes
is.
here.
It is. I just needed like the last element, and I will separate everything.
All right.
But maybe actually I will follow Nicole's advice. I think I will do the background in pastel instead
Okay,
of
that's gonna be cool.
instead of
Nicole,
wood.
you guys have been fundamental to the success of this. I wanted to thank you all again for tuning in. We're so excited that you guys came to join us in this first week. We're going to keep making it better from here on out. And like Miguel mentioned, I think when we have the opportunity, we're going to, as I said, work towards having, from raw design to finished product within the hour each week. But where Miguel has the chance, I think he's going to try and do a more finished, kind of unlimited time version during the rest leading up to the challenge again next week that you guys can see on our Instagram as a sort of comparison to, when he has an hour with the Rayjet, here's, the finished product that he was able to put together. And then when he has, a week with the Rayjet, here's his kind of upgraded version that he decided to put together. Just as a means of showing you guys both, not only the power of the Rayjet, but then the scalability, that the Rayjet and all the other Trolleys, the Trotec lasers offer you. So Miguel, can I ask the circular shape, was that just sort of from, what came off the top of the dome first thing, or was there a particular reason that you chose it based on the layout of the design? Like, is it
the circle?
Yeah, the fact that you decided to do it as a circle. Maybe I'm reading into it. I know you're talented.
Yeah, most of the coasters are done as circles, right? So I just defaulted to that, but I don't think I'll have enough time to think about the external part of it. So I'll just keep it as. I think I'm just gonna put pets in here, right?
Okay.
So this is gonna be. Actually, it can work. Okay.
20 minutes left.
It can work.
Pets.
Let's go.
All right, let's do it.
I have to make it work. I cannot fail my first challenge.
Listen, the success is in the doing.
Okay.
So a great design. 80s pets is not an easy theme to start with. So okay, now we just made a copy of the design.
Yeah, I always copy like different stages of the design, just in case anything goes wrong when I'm like going to the next phase. So I can just go back here instead of Control Z, or if software crashes or anything like that, right?
Okay.
All right, so I have to separate this for engraving and cutting. Since the first layer will be the pink pastel, right? So it will be pretty easy, honestly. And it will basically be just a circle initially, right? The wood is the one that we need to kind of worry about because we're going to cut around it. So this will become a fill. And go to back. And
so we're talking about before, guys. What Miguel's got going on here is he's color separating it out with the RGB values that he knows the Rayjet uses. So that circular section there that he either wants to engrave or cut, he needs to make it all one color so that the Rayjet understands, what it is that he's after.
Yeah.
James had a great suggestion, by the way. He said paws, like paw prints.
Oh, paw prints. That's really cool. If I had enough time, I would. No, I don't think I do.
We're gonna keep that one in the memory bank for a future when 80s pets roll 1 year from now, and I'm gonna make you revisit this challenge.
Okay, so this is engraved on the wood. This is going to be engraved on the wood. So this is
one thing that's interesting is like looking at you designing, you really are sort of actively thinking through and having to be careful about thinking through each design step ahead of sending it to the laser, right? What's going to be engraved, what's going to be cut, what's going to be each piece.
Exactly. So this has to cut through the wood to sit on top of the pastel, right? So this the black part will be engraved.
Okay. I love the little smiley face on that dog. It's so cute.
This one has to cut through.
So what are you thinking? What are you debating? I have to know. The people demand it.
I'm thinking about the layers. Yeah. So the first cut that I gotta do has to be correct, right? So the pastel will be on the bottom and the wood will be on the top. So the wood will be around the letters, just like the sign, right? Here.
Yes.
The sign was cut around the black actually, and not the clear part. So that's what I'm trying to do. Cut around. So
Nicole was asking about your Instagram handle, Miguel. Nicole, just so you know, we're going to be posting this to the Trotec Instagram. We will absolutely link it all in the VOD of this that we post to YouTube. But we'll be posting it to our Instagram, our Twitter, all that sort of stuff so that you guys are able to follow us, our Facebook. We want this to be a fun series. I'm hoping that maybe going forward, I can be following Miguel around. This is going to sound terrible, actually, hearing it out loud. Following Miguel around to kind of keep track of also the design projects that he's doing during the week. I love the idea of you guys getting to see a bit of a sneak peek in advance. And I invite you to comment on the Instagram photos, things like that, in order that you can send us your ideas if something comes to you out of the blue. We'll be watching those posts really carefully and the replies we get on those posts so that when it comes to next week, we have more exciting ideas for 1 hour challenges. Don't hesitate to challenge Miguel. He knew what he was getting into.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's doing a great job. So when you're blocking something like this out, what's that tool you're using there? I know it's Illustrator specific, I think, but
yes,
it is a great tool.
Shape builder tool. It's a blessing, honestly, a lot of the times. But I think I messed up.
So that's letting you combine together those different vectors and different sections of the vector.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So you just select everything and you put them together. It's pretty cool and easy to use and makes your life so easy.
Definitely don't worry, guys, too, if there's a specific sort of technique and stuff. We're going to have Miguel do some probably some Illustrator themed tutorials and stuff going forward. So it's something we'll be able to show you in more detail. Today I don't want to distract him too much from the design that he's making. But Miguel is a really, really talented designer. So I think going forward, we're going to have him do some teaching and some seminars. Miguel does all of our training with our customers. So if you were interested in learning a little bit more about the Trotec Academy, definitely check out troteclaser.com, or you can send us an email and we'll be able to tell you a little bit more about getting training with your Trotec laser, certainly. We'd love if it was with your Rayjet, especially. We really do like working with the Rayjet.
I think it's done, the wood part, the wood cutting part, right?
All right, brother.
I believe it's done. And most of the time when I have this belief, I can only be sure if I try. So this is what I'm going to do right now. Right? So I'm going to group it and turn on the Rayjet. just right here.
So Miguel's got both a quattro ventilation system there next to him, as well as the Rayjet. The Rayjet has a built-in fan at the back, but the quattro is going to work to help extract any of the smoke or the dust that the material is making as it's engraving and cutting his design out.
I don't know if I should use veneer or what's the other one that I have here? This one. I think this one maybe.
Show us the two, and we can have people vote really quickly if you like. So there's number one.
Yeah.
And number two.
It's laser wood veneer.
Number two, beautiful. So that first one was the Eco. This is some veneered wood. If you guys want to throw in a quick one or two while we have the Rayjet powering up here, don't forget, Miguel, too, if you get a chance, we'll switch your camera over to the Rayjet cam so that we can scope it out once your design is ready to go.
Okay, so
Jeff asked about the Quattro. Anne-Marie votes for the Eco, but Anne-Marie votes for number one.
Eco, okay.
The Quattro does have several filters in it, Jeff. It has, I'm trying to think, it has a particular filter. I mean, basically, it has a system of 3 separate filters that get that filter out smaller and smaller particulates as you go. Depending on the type of material that you're working with, you're going to want to maybe set up a different. Yes, thank you. So we've had it posted in the chat as well. There's a HEPA, a carbon filter, and a bag filter. Oh, we've had a few more votes for number one, bud. So Eco. It's got to be the Eco, my friend.
All right. So let me show here the you guys already see this screen, right?
Yes, beautiful.
So this is the mini manager for Rayjet, and so I'm choosing the material, and I'm gonna put the cut power and speed and all the stuff that you guys already know if you want a laser. But if you don't, this is where you put the settings to basically do what I'm trying to do. In this case, is do two different powers of engraving, so it looks kind of layered, right? It has a different depth to it. So this is where I start like tweaking around. So
you can see on the left there too some of the presets for different materials we were talking about before. Miguel obviously has this set to a wood preset in this case, but it has a lot of great things built into the back end of the software to make it a little easier. So what are we tweaking right here, Miguel? Is this the sort of power and speed indication here in the Rayjet Mini Manager?
I'm sorry, what?
What are we tweaking right now? What are these little tweaks that we're making to the...
Yeah, I'm tweaking for the wood right now. So I'm putting 2 different colors for cutting, right? One will have 40% power, the other one will have 15% power. And one color for cutting will have 80% power and 1% speed, right? So that one, I wanted to cut through. So I think this is good, a good starting point. I hope it works in one go because yeah, I don't have enough time, I think, to do 2 tries. Yep.
One thing I should mention to you guys too that Miguel won't have to worry about today, maybe necessarily because the pastel is going to be the base of the coaster, but the pastels are a Tro glass. So if you've ever worked with our Tro glass material before, it's going to cut and engrave in the exact same way as our other Tro glass materials. So it's a great opportunity to work with some new exciting colors, but using settings that you're already familiar with. You're going to get those same great Trotec results. When it comes to working with Rayjet here, Miguel, I saw that your artboard in Illustrator, your sort of canvas that you're working with, is the same size as the laser bed. Am I right in saying?
Exactly. So I have to position my job where I want it to be cut and engraved on the Rayjet. So it's right top left corner. All right, so it seems like, yeah, everything's all right. So you can see here in the preview, Rayjet can read what I made. All right, so I'll put the
Eco?
Eco, yeah, Eco wood there. And I'm gonna change the camera.
For those joining, so today, because it's the first week, we are doing a coaster, but we are open to any design ideas you have for future weeks. From here on out, maybe one more week, we might cheat a little bit and have a design in mind in advance. But starting, I think, next week, we're going to be soliciting both the item that you guys want Miguel to design as well as the theme right at the beginning of the video like we did today. So today's theme is 80s pets on a coaster, and Miguel has put together a very groovin design that I'm really, really excited about. But in coming weeks, it could basically be anything. And again, don't forget that the Trotec, the Rayjet has a rotary tool in it. So if you guys want Miguel to do cylindrical objects and things like that in the future, you can see him focusing the laser here right now with the eco in there. The Rayjet is it's 12 by 18 working area. So just under the size of basically a quarter sheet of any of our materials. A little bit smaller than a quarter sheet is going to fit perfectly snugly in there. Yeah, you can see him using the focus tool that he has duct taped to the top of the machine there that's a secret tip that we'll give specifically to you guys watching the stream today. So coming in, like I was saying, coming weeks, we really want you guys to be able to suggest ideas and to suggest themes. We're going to post the finished pictures of this to our Instagram, our Facebook, that sort of thing. Oh, thank you so much for submitting an idea on the website. So the price range for a Rayjet, that's a great question. I'm afraid, unfortunately, Miguel and I are with the marketing department. We don't have really much pricing information, but definitely get a hold of your local Trotec dealer. The prices are going to be different in different countries as well, so it's a little bit tricky for us we wouldn't want to give any wrong information. But I would absolutely advise, getting an internet demo from your local salesperson and having an opportunity for them to show you the machine over the internet right now. Just like we're going to do here, I think, right now. Let me unmute Miguel's mic.
Yeah.
How's it going, Miguel? Is it working already?
I think so. I hope so.
It's like
it's engraving right now. Yeah. Yeah, it's engraving pretty light. So
Beautiful.
the way I want it. And then we'll have like a darker engraving.
That's so exciting.
And then we'll cut. Let's hope I can finish it in time. How many?
So, don't forget too that the Rayjet moving at 60 inches per second, it's going to be a little faster than your average hobbyist laser. It's going to be a little bit more. It has a metal tube in it instead of a glass tube. A lot of times with a glass tube, you're going to have maybe a 1 to 2 year lifespan, but with this metal tube, we expect it to last considerably longer than that before you would have to recharge it. Jeff. So Jeff was able to visit us in Calgary and got to check out the Speedy 300. We love the Speedy 300. It's another one of our go-to machines. Again, there's that pastel. I see Miguel getting that pastel already. One of the great things about, again, projects like these, and apologies for those who've been here since the beginning, but I'm going to repeat it again, is that anything Miguel designs today is absolutely scalable up to a 300, a 500, a 2000 if you like. But we don't often get a chance to talk about the Rayjet, and we wanted to do a special show just as an opportunity to sort of, give it some extra love and some extra attention. We love the Rayjet, to be honest. It's a great, powerful little, Trotec machine, and it is no worse for wear for being a little bit smaller and a little bit more portable. Let's see if I can. Oh, Miguel, I'm really, really excited about this. So, I want you guys to think about, again, Miguel could fit at a 5x5 coaster. He could fit a number of those on that sheet of eco. It's very likely that, we were seeing on Etsy, sets of coasters of 4 going for anywhere up to $30, $40. Miguel is able to probably put together a finished coaster here in about 10 to 15 minutes. In 10 to 15 minutes, if he can make $40, or a $40 set of coasters, and I'm going to price them higher because it's going to be a cool theme, an 80s theme. We didn't see any other 80s themed coasters on there, but also because if he wanted to do, I can see it cutting now.
Yeah, so cool. The power setting for the engraving, I would change it. See, if I had enough time, I would do it again. Put a little bit more power for both. I think it was too light.
Okay.
Right, but the cutting is perfect. As you can see, it's cutting the wood, and yep, everything going pretty good.
Amy, I wanted to spotlight your comment here really quickly. Is it possible that folks could send in photos of their own past Trotec themed products? Or challenge themed products? Absolutely, please. Anything that you make with your laser, tag us on Instagram. We'd be happy to get to interact with you guys. That'd be so exciting. And also, if you have themed ideas, or if you guys decide to take the 1 hour challenge, I'd be so excited for you guys to do your own 1 hour challenge. Do the same themes, Miguel, or do a variation on the theme, whatever it is that gets you excited and inspired. and then tag us on Instagram. Let us see the final product. We'd be so excited to see that. So Anne Marie asks about job control interface with Rayjet. So Rayjet Manager, yes. So Rayjet Manager is on Miguel's screen. It's something we're going to be able to show you here in a second, I think, but it's very, very close to job control, and it is Rayjet uses a slightly different type of software. It has a proprietary software just for Rayjet. It has kind of a simpler interface than the job control does, and a fewer number of settings. It's sort of, again, built with that sort of hobbyist, idea in mind, so to be as quick as possible from design to finished product. Job control is certainly more robust and gives you a little bit more flexibility, but the Rayjet Manager is no slouch by any means, for sure.
All right, so let me show this on the screen to you guys.
We got about 3 minutes left. We got to get that pastel in there, brother.
Change the webcam here. Okay. So, as you guys can see, it was too light. So I would have changed and made it darker and deeper. And the cutting, I would also put a little bit more power. So it would actually
pop through.
Yeah, pop through easily. Right. It's like a little hard to pop through.
Very strong.
Well, yeah, but it's trial and error, right? We don't really know the settings instantly. We have to see if it works or not. However, in general, I'm happy with the result of this one, and I'm gonna cut the pastel to see if the punch through will look beautiful or not. If I should do the other way around.
I think it's gonna be great, man. 40 seconds. Get that. If it's in the machine and the machine starts working, I'm gonna count that as a win. I'm going to count that as a finish. Like, you got that product done within the hour.
Yeah. For the pastel, it's just a circle, actually.
Yes.
I mean,
that circle makes the whole design, though. That's a make or break.
I'll change the settings here real fast to classics and skip.
So yes, a quick comment here in the chat. So you have to put the pastel into the machine now. Exactly. So Miguel's likely going to choose, I assume, a plastic sort of preset or a Troglass preset in Rayjet Manager, the mini manager, and then print that to the laser.
Yeah. And you can do this side again. I have to remove the
masking.
Yeah, the masking. Yeah.
You got it, brother.
All right. Since it's the same thickness, I don't need to focus again. And Rayjet Mini Manager, here you go.
Hello, Johnny from Trotec East UK. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so glad you guys could all be here to see our very first 1 hour Rayjet design challenge. Keep in mind, again, we're going to be hosting these each week. If you guys have a cool project or something you'd like to suggest, throw it up on Instagram, comment on the video on Instagram. Miguel, we've just passed an hour, my man. You just made it under the wire. I want to be able to I see you poking those holes through. Listen, it's not a bug, it's a feature.
Well, it's close enough, but dude, she got me sidetracked here. I could never expect this kind of theme ever. So, yes, 80s pet. Like,
is the
what?
Rayjet button?
Sorry?
The Rayjet cutting?
Yes, just finished.
Oh, yeah, I just saw that. Just saw the arm move.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that beautiful pastel color. I'm so excited for you guys to get to see these new pastels in the coming weeks.
I mean, it's not that doesn't look that good, but
Y'all, I'm excited.
I would rather have the pastel on top, right?
I think that's cool. Listen, that is exciting. That's grooving.
I will redo this and I'll post it on Instagram and Twitter or whatever.
Yes.
And you guys will see what I can do with the actual time, right? Because to see who you really like.
I gotta tell you though, I want you guys to know part of the reason too we want you to suggest themes and products at the start of the show is that Miguel does not get a chance to prepare for these. I mean, we very sincerely want to show that, from Miguel might not love the coaster as much as I do. I quite like it, to be honest. But we wanted to show you that, regardless of how Miguel might feel about the coaster at the end of the hour here, he's gone from, a design idea that do a before and after Anne Marie says. That's basically, listen, there's nothing wrong with the before. He's gone from a design idea to a finished product in an hour that he could post up on Etsy. You're getting applause in the chat, Miguel. I gotta give you applause, my man. Yes, and now Sandra mentions definitely also like we gotta wash our hands, brother. Listen, I think it's important to notice that Miguel went from, I mean, you weren't even really all that familiar with the 80s, and in a matter of an hour, you have a finished 80s themed groove and coaster. Listen, you can't keep working on it because we're going to get accused of cheating on the very first design challenge. Show me that finished coaster again, please.
Okay. I'm still popping off the stuff.
I love it.
But I would rather have the other way around, right? The pastel on top, because I think it pops up the design more. However, it would be way more complicated to do this without the Nathpo Games is asking layer and pieces. What is the best glue for mixing materials? We use 3M, right? 3M tape on the back. So this one here would have a 3M tape. We'll peel it off and put it on whatever we want. Same thing for the wood. Either way, it's fine. So this is why I didn't do the pink on top, because we would have way more smaller details to put on top of the wood.
Right.
And if I had to show you guys like holding in my hand without anything gluing them together, they would be falling down all the time, right?
Yeah.
Because as you can see, these were going to be the pink details. Yeah.
Yes.
So
I am so excited to see. We're going to leave you guys on a bit of a cliffhanger. I'm excited for you to check out on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. We're going to post maybe some pictures in the coming week here of the updated version of it as well. You have so many nice comments coming in. People are cheering for you, Miguel, in the chat.
You will have the before and after next week. I'll show both side by side for you guys to see. Look, this is the one that I did in an hour. This is the one that I did during the week when I had time. Yeah.
If we have people saying Don picked an impossible theme, and I have to say in defense of myself, you are absolutely correct. For somebody who wasn't born in the 80s to have to do an 80s themed pets coaster is pretty tricky. But you know what? For a first week, I'm proud. I think we came up with something really, really great.
Yeah, it was fun. It was really, really fun. And the pressure was more to learn about the stuff in 20 minutes, 15 minutes to start actually doing it. It's hard to visualize something when you don't know what you're doing.
Yes. So. Nathpo Games, quick answer for you. Is that wood MDF? Actually, that is a special product that was manufactured specifically by Trotec. It is made of entirely recycled and biodegradable materials. It's called our Trotec Eco. It's available in 3 different thicknesses, and the sheets are 12 by 24, so they're already in a quarter sheet size. If you have one of our speedy lasers, it'll fit beautifully in there, but it's also entirely eco-friendly, biodegradable, that sort of thing. So you have congrats, well done, good job. The theme should be submitted before. Sandra, you are probably correct. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're gonna head out. I'm gonna go put this bottle of water on that coaster. We really look forward to seeing you next week. Miguel, thank you so much for putting this together for us. We look forward to seeing you guys a week from today. We'll be back same laser time, same laser channel.
Exactly. See you guys.
Take care, guys.
Take care.
Bye.